You have to remember that Norm is so funny and so smart, I can't even predict he'll ever assume his rightful position at the absolute top of the medal stand. Because he's, I don't know what to say. It's sort of like Galileo or something of comedy. It's not for his times in a weird way. But he's an absolute, one of the few certified comedic geniuses I've met in my life.
Can I just say one thing? Yes. I have not seen you in so long.
I know, it's been a while.
I love you. Makes me very sad now that you're
I've gained 45 pounds.
I don't care. A man as brilliant as you are is doing a podcast for 18 people. And Kim Kardashian's mother has a talk show. How sad is it that a talent of yours has to do this? You should have your own talk show on a network.
So we'll take a break.
But this guy is doing a talk show for 22 people. He should have his own show on a network. And if anybody is listening, put him on a network.
Do you watch your own show?
No, sir.
Well, you have. I've talked to people. I've watched it, and I've talked to other people who find it compelling. You can't take your eyes off. So
well,
there,
imagine if
whatever
you
it is you're making up, whatever qualities you're fabricating here, you yourself possess them.
Well, the reason I'm here is because I like the show.
Well, that's very kind.
And I feel that you've really got something good here.
Well, that's very
I hope you stay with.
Soylent Green.
So I just want to say that I think this is the greatest show on television.
Oh, listen to Jim. He's amazing.
Honest to God. Because we don't need frills any longer.
But you are the best.
Listen.
This is what you need to be doing, and I love it.
By the way, I cannot not mention this.
Yes, the JC in your tie.
Now, Jesus Christ did not wear a tie. We know that.
No, he wore sandals.
So who else was JC?
Who else other than Jesus Christ?
Yes.
Jimmy Kahn.
How about Johnny
Carson?
That's right. This is his tie.
No, it's not.
Yes, in honor of him, I wore your show because
I'm the new Johnny Carson?
That's exactly right.
Holy cow.
Can I give you a compliment? Many times when I'm feeling down, what I do is I go on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I watch you on various talk shows, like Conan, when you like bust people. No, this is I don't bullshit anybody.
He doesn't believe you.
And I watch you on these shows, and I have a good laugh.
Oh, that's nice.
You're a very good talk show guest, I believe. Do you know that Chevy Chase says that you are the only other anchor person of Saturday Night Live that got it right, that actually did it the right way?
That was very nice of him.
Did you know he said that?
I did hear that.
But Letterman loves you. I mean, he once said, if we could have Norm on every week, we would have. That he said something. And then he said the ultimate compliment, there may be people as funny as Norm, but I don't know anybody funnier.
Well,
that had to floor you, right?
Yeah,
that meant something to you.
That'll buckle your knees.
Yeah.
We always worry a little about you because we regard you as the top of the heap, the best of the best, the funniest of the funny, the guy who has it in every fiber of his being, not conjured. It's the real thing.
So, do you ever wish that maybe you were less smart, maybe you're more...
I wish I was as smart as you.
Well, I'm not smart.
Oh, you're smarter than I am. I wish
No.
In terms of being intelligent, I think you're high here.
First of all, you are the man. You are my comedy choice. Whenever I'm looking for something on YouTube or whatever it is, Norm's always my first comedy choice.
God damn, that's nice.
Yeah, and I sit there, but you can suck up a little bit of it.
I met you first. You'll never remember this because I was just hanging out. Where'd we meet?
Crazy Girls.
Crazy Girls. Talk about truth and advertising in that fucking thing.
How are you so funny? I remember a joke you did on, I think it was David Letterman. You said, David, have you ever seen a gay porn film? You watch adult films. And Dave said, yeah. He said, have you ever seen the one with all men? He says, yeah, the gay ones. He said, they're awful.
This is amazing, because porno is my favorite kind of movie to watch. And yet, I've seen some pornos lately that my buddies have shown me. Have you seen these ones with all male casts? Gay pornos, they're called. These things are horrible. And there's thousands of them. They make thousands of them. They have not made one good one. And I'll tell you what the problem with it is. Quite seriously. Yes, sir. Quite seriously, the problem with these gay pornos and every one guys having sex with each other. Who the hell wants to see that? You know?
Maybe you're shopping in the wrong section of the store.
This is not for me.
Las Vegas is now home to a 550-foot-tall Ferris wheel. Also drawing thousands to Las Vegas, whores. That's you. That's your voice all the way right there. It's the old, the Norm Macdonald lean-in, whores.
Finally, in U.S. News and World Report's list of the best and worst jobs for 1996 is out. Last year's best job, multimedia software consultant, was replaced by a new best job, bioindustrial engineer. And in the worst job category, last year's winner, crack whore, has lost its spot. The new worst job is assistant crack whore.
That was an amazing experience watching Russell Brand and Norm Macdonald, because in my opinion, I think you and I are kind of together on this, two of the most beautiful human beings, comedically, aesthetically, just to look at. Like, you just look at Norm, you kind of can't stop looking at him. Like, people go like, hey, Norm, but like, nah, if you look at Norm Macdonald, if I just showed you a photo of Norm Macdonald, you know who he was. And I'm like, oh, you don't remember this guy from the Cary Grant movies? You wouldn't go like, no, what? Like, he's gorgeous. And like Russell Brand, people like write him off.
But I wonder if people, like you say, you don't like people who are not hardworking. I wonder, are there people who worked as hard as Steve did and does?
I was thinking when I said it that there's an exception. I know we're both admirers of Norm Macdonald, and he seems sometimes like someone who has something. It's his cadence. It's the way he talks. I don't know if he's a hardworking comic, but God, he makes me laugh. Mm-hmm. And his cadence, something is just wrong about it, you know?
But I love Norm, and my guess is, what I know of Norm is that he may not be working hard.
No.
But what he has is the same result as somebody who's worked hard.
Yes, yeah.
Which is, again, enviable, admirable. But God, he makes me laugh. And I happened across some of his time on Weekend Update.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you watch it now, you realize Norm just didn't care if it got a laugh.
No. And he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't care. And he had a joke. It was during the O.J. trial. And there's a picture of Johnny Cochran holding up the knit cap with O.J. sitting next to him. And God, no one could do this but Norm. Norm said, a little bit of a wrinkle for O.J. in the trial today. Johnny Cochran stood up and held the knit cap that was found at the scene of the double murders when O.J. jumped up and said, hey, careful with that. That's my lucky stabbing cap. Who else could do that?
Right.
And he doesn't. And if it got nothing, he would stare.
Yeah.
And tell you your problem. Yeah. I thought that was one of the best. Dark but fantastic.
Right.
And also no one could do it but him.
No, that's what I was going to say. I would, if somebody had pitched that joke to me at the height of the O.J. trial, I would have laughed and not done it. Would you have done that joke?
No, I would not have done that.
Yeah.
I would have been queasy and, it's a tragedy. And it was theater of some kind. Yeah. Theater of the absurd.
But the delivery, the persona, and the material. It's
perfect.
Powerful, yes.
In a brilliant move during closing arguments, Simpson attorney Johnny Cochran put on the knit cap prosecutors say O.J. wore the night he committed the murders. Although O.J. may have hurt his case when he suddenly blurted out, hey, easy with that. That's my lucky stabbing hat.
Just go to huluplus.com/norm. What? I'm trying to speed up through this. Right now, sign up for huluplus.com.
Norm Macdonald's podcast copy?
/norm.
/norm? You don't get any money from Norm.
This isn't supposed to be. It's supposed to be slash Bill. Slash Bill. They said Norm. Well, you know what? I like Norm Macdonald. Let's give him the money for the week.
I didn't even know he had a podcast.
Oh yeah, dude, Norm Macdonald. Did you see him on Conan telling that moth joke?
No.
Yeah, you got to see it.
No, I haven't.
A moth goes into a podiatrist's office.
A moth goes into a podiatrist's office. Right?
You are correct.
Dude, you know how many comics out there don't give a fuck, but kind of still do? You have to kind of still do to eat. That guy
Norm doesn't. He's so fucking funny.
One of my best opening monologue jokes ever. Did you ever see? Remember that whole thing when he was doing Weekend Update and they told him to make it funnier. So he didn't. He just was more Norm the next week. So eventually, of course, he gets fired. So then he goes off into the Hollywood world. He's got a TV show or a hit movie or some shit. So now they bring him back to guest host on SNL. And I'm going to butcher this, but he kind of came out. He's like, yeah, so, people know I got fired from this show. So now they got me back hosting, which means either I got a lot funnier or this show sucks. That's what he opened up with. And I know that wasn't approved. Sorry for the bad Norm. I'll have Jay Moore on to make up for it.
That was a great Norm. Norm, listening to Norm on Stern or anything, any podcast, listening to, I don't know if you remember when Charles Grodin would do Letterman, and just knowing he's going on there, that it was always a fucking great show.
Oh, yeah, and people didn't get that he was fucking around.
Yeah, that's how Norm is anytime. If Norm's the guest, I'm fucking listening.
Like, Norm Macdonald got mad about it. He's like, yeah, there was no woman like that back then. Can we give it the fucking show, man? The Hulk's not real either. There's no guy who becomes the Hulk.
No,
can you enjoy it?
I really like Norm Macdonald. But
I love him.
Yeah, but I didn't have. She was swearing like a soldier on stage. Very quickly.
Very quick. What about Norm? Did you guys do anything with Norm?
I wish we could do something with Norm.
He's got a thing on Netflix.
Yeah, but he was in L.A. We were in New York. And
he's another dude.
He's so funny.
God damn, he's good.
I wish he would.
Yeah, Norm, there's nobody like him as a stand-up.
I'm not saying we will, but if we ever do this again, this bumping mics day, we should get Norm.
Did you see his tweets, his Thanksgiving tweets?
No. Once again, on my flip phone,
I'm about Friends. I retweeted it. He's just so ridiculous, man. He's so funny.
There's something about Norm's just like his ability to, I have this thing about timing. I don't know what you think about it, but it's like there's something about the timing that, like, I know in today's world that, like, people don't care about that. It's more about, like, identity and all that stuff. But, like, Norm is a master of timing. Yeah. He really is, like, a master of, like, timing. And this whole thing that he's trying to do where he's finding these classic jokes, I love that.
No, he's genius. He's one of the best.
There is no one like him.
My first road gig ever was opening for Norm.
Really?
Yeah, it was
your
probably
first road gig ever.
1991, maybe.
Amazing.
At Catch Princeton. Somehow I talked my way into an MC spot, and Rich Voss was the middle, and Norm was the headliner.
Love Rich.
And Norm was only famous for doing a few late night shows. Whatever wasn't Letterman at the time. What was the other one? Was it Thicker Than Night or something? Or
Bob Costas?
No, it was.
Remember? He had Later with Bob Costas?
It wasn't as cool as that, even.
Bill Boggs?
It was some.
I'm going to keep you. Yeah.
It was some show you'll remember in a few minutes, and you go, "Oh yeah, some late night show, like syndicated, whatever it was." But like, and I meet Norm, and he's Catch Princeton. He'd do 45 minutes every show. He either destroyed or he got 0 laughs for 45 minutes. And whenever he got 0 laughs, he would stand by the door and say goodbye to people as they left.
Oh, that's great.
And if he killed, he would go back up to the room with Voss and we would play poker. Like he was
hilarious.
so anti. And then while we were there, he got booked on Letterman for the first time, and I had a Jeep. My sister bought me a Jeep with the money she got from a car accident, and I drove Norm. The best. Hi, Robin. And I drove Norm to his Letterman taping, his first Letterman.
That's incredible.
It was cool. I learned a lot that week.
What a great guy to have. Is the first guy you opened for?
It was so funny.
That's amazing.
Todd Barry was so obsessed with Norm, he came out and slept in my bed.
There are obviously a lot of entertaining celebrities, but Norm Macdonald used to come on our show in the early days, and those were, I thought, great television because we never knew it was happening, and it was always teetering on the edge of it was all about to blow up. It's all about to fail, and it would always end brilliantly. And then he stopped coming around, and it was just a period that passed. And I was always sad about that because I thought, we're a very celebrity-conscious age, and people always think that the best guests are the biggest celebrities. Sometimes, the best guests are these people that you have a weird connection with, and it's compelling television. People see and they talk to me about it later on. Like, I'll be out in the world walking around, and people will say, I saw that when you were with Harlan, or when you were with Norm, or with Ron. That really got wild and crazy in a way that they don't see on television that much. We're back, everybody. We're with a rehydrated Norm Macdonald. How you doing?
Good, man.
You know, I learned a little bit about that was Norm. And of course, Norm's a little crazy, but Norm, a big host would come and we'd all get all hopped up, like, okay, Rose is gonna bring in big ratings. Let's get our AP. Where's my goat? I'm gonna throw out a goat. And Norm would sit there in the pitch meeting. We'd all be dead serious. Will would throw out, I'm going to do a cheerleader.
Right.
This one and that. And Norm would be like, yeah, I got a sketch ready. You're going in your pants, And you're just walking around. And you're like, yeah, I'm the guy with the in my pants, I hate this guy, and you look at him like he was nuts, but he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, Norm knew exactly. Listen, one of the single funniest things I've ever seen in my life is when he did Letterman, how quickly he would throw the sport coat off at the end of the sketch. Nothing made me laugh harder than Norm. Doing Letterman, and I said to him, what's with the sport? You know how Letterman, how ill and easy is with show business. Yeah. Norm said, that's all I had at the beginning. The essence of it was his discomfort. I said, this guy's a freaking genius then.
He was a genius. He would warm up the crowd. Now, when I would warm up the crowd, I would warm it up like I was playing the Garden, and I wanted to teach everyone a lesson. If I'm cut from tonight, I want you to know I should have been on.
That I was a badass.
Yeah, I'd warm up the crowd, kill. Norm would go up behind me, and he'd go, hey, Jim Brewer and these guys, he's got all these great impressions, So I said, oh, I better learn some impressions. So, are you guys all ready? This is my newest impression of these. Got a lot of. Because here's Ed Sullivan. And I'm like, he's really going to do Ed Sullivan? Like, why would you? He goes, Ed Sullivan introducing the Beatles. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Beatles. Well, I got to work on that one a little bit. I see you during the show.
He's got a little Andy Kaufman in him, Norm. He likes to frustrate, titillate a little, but then periodically he'll say something like, I feel sorry for the homeless guy's dog, because the dog's thinking, this is the longest walk I've ever been on.
Listen, Norm Macdonald. Actually, you brought this up during the break, but they were listening to us on Pal Talk, so now maybe we should do this. You said Norm Macdonald and the Stingrays really funny on the
joke on
on what, the Daily Show?
Yeah, the Daily Show.
This was sent in by Brian from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I wanted to talk about the crocodile hunter.
Did you?
Because I think you're going to make them sad. Because I think it was tragic at the time. But I think I don't know. People calling me, man, they're shocked. Oh, hey, you wouldn't believe it. Who got killed? The crocodile hunter. Please don't make me laugh at this. They were like, he was 44 years old. I'm like, that's a ripe old age for a crocodile hunter. And who had to be pissed about it were the crocodiles, because he got killed by some fruity fish. So the crocodiles were like, hey man, that crocodile hunter got killed. Who did it, Frank? Nah, you don't even want to know, man. No, Bill, man, you had a chance. Like the guy go, man, I had a chance. I had that mother. He was. He was Tommy with a stick. I could have eat him and his kid. I don't feel good about this. You remember I ever tell you that story, Bill? Yeah, only 1,000 times. that's for the kids. All right, Norm Macdonald. We're putting
that is goddamn funny. Damn it.
Hilarious.
Very funny. Jimmy, did you let one out?
Hey, Mr. Thornton, man. How did you come to be on that episode of Norm Macdonald Live? Had you met him before, or what the heck? How did that happen? How'd it come about?
Yeah, I've known Norm over the years. Sure, yeah. Nice guy.
He's my favorite comic. You're one of my favorite actors.
I got to tell you, Norm is hilarious. It's hard to beat Norm.
You did that big arena tour, didn't you?
I did it's me and Sandler and Spade, Schneider, Norm Macdonald, and
How funny is Norm Macdonald?
Oh, he's amazing. Ah, what? Norm Macdonald is a funny motherfucker, dude.
Your favorite guests are always like the Bill Burr, Norm Macdonald. This
Yes.
might go off the rails really fast.
I
type
mean,
of guys.
yeah. I mean, Norm Macdonald, one of the great talk show guests of all time. He invented something that no, Norm Macdonald invented this amazing thing that I've never seen anybody do before or since. It's kind of like he split the atom. It was that revolutionary. Norm would come on and he would, instead of telling you a real story, like if I had you on the show and you're like, hey, Bill, tell me, well, and remember I was living in Chestnut Hill once, and you would tell a real story about what happened to you in your life. Norm tells old jokes as stories that happened to him.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, Norm, what are you up to? And I mean, really old jokes from like the 1920s. And he'd be like, well, Conan, I don't know if you're aware that I purchased a farm, Conan. I'd be like, really? You purchased a... Yeah, I purchased a farm. Of course, I have 3 daughters. And I'm like, you have 3 daughters? Yeah, I have 3 daughters on the farm. One very attractive, one not as attractive, and of course the third not, kind of... Well, she's ugly, Conan. She's ugly. And I'd be like, Well, one day, this traveling salesman comes to the farm, and he says, now, Norm, I tell you. And then it's like he's telling an old traveling salesman joke.
Yeah.
But
you know about halfway through where it's going.
I mean, I usually know. I know kind of what he's doing. I'm laughing that he has the balls to do this. I'm laughing at the audacity. So I don't even care if this joke lands or not. I'm laughing that he's committing to the fact that, no, he doesn't have a farm. He doesn't have 3 daughters. There's no traveling salesman. But he doesn't care in a way that is exhilarating and scary at the same time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And plus, he probably has some people in the audience who are taking completely seriously, right?
Yes. Yeah. He's got some people thinking.
We call them tourists.
Yes, we call them. They're usually from San Bernardino.
Well, Norm had the greatest talk show moment in the history of talk shows with Courtney Thorne-Smith.
That was epic. That was so great. And it's funny because
it's lived on. Who knew that we were going to have YouTube eventually?
You know
where
what?
We could just queue it up on command.
God bless YouTube. I had no idea when those things were happening. I thought, we're talking 1993, 94. When those things were happening, I thought, what did I know? I just thought if you were up and you saw it, that means you saw you saw an amazing thing happen. And if you, and then maybe if I get to stay on the air long enough, we'll have a 1-year anniversary show and maybe you'll see it then. But if you're not there for that, it's gone. And now I meet people, that around the world that will say, oh, I just saw that thing with you and Norm and Courtney Thorne-Smith. And I'll think that was a moment of my life when I was 30.
Yeah.
And I'm like 85 now. Like, how is that possible?
There's a lot of guys who sort of all of a sudden are like real big
Everyone's
players.
doing
Norm.
well,
Norm
yeah.
got his own TV show.
Norm's doing well. What?
What?
Do you hang out with Norm, or is it impossible?
It's pretty impossible because he's crazy.
He is.
In L.A., I call him and he goes, I go, what happened last week? I called you to go on. You called me? And I go, yeah. On my phone? I go, yeah. And he goes, oh, yeah, I got that. I go, well, you didn't call me back? No.
And he's serious.
Yeah, he's crazy.
And yeah, I know. Like, I have him on the show.
I love him, though. He's the funniest guy around. I think you need to be kind of crazy to be really funny.
He is very funny. I love him, too.